Have you ever noticed a strange smell, even after taking a good shower, putting on fresh clothes, and maybe even spraying a bit of cologne? You did everything right, used soap, cleaned thoroughly, and yet that faint, musty old people smell still lingers. Here's the thing. It's not always about how often you bathe. It's about where you're cleaning. For many older adults, some of the most odor-prone areas are the ones we rarely think about. That's because as we age, our body's skin chemistry changes. One compound in particular, 2-nol, becomes more prominent. It's a natural byproduct of aging and has been directly linked to that distinct, slightly sour scent we often associate with getting older. But here's the good news. That smell isn't inevitable. In fact, for most people, up to 99% of it can be reduced or even completely eliminated just by giving regular attention to a few often overlooked areas of the body. In this video, we're diving into 5 unexpected parts of the body where odor tends to build up quietly, even when everything else looks and feels clean. These spots might not be where you expect, but once you start giving them just a bit more care, you'll be surprised by how fresh, confident, and comfortable you feel each day. Stick around to the very end, because number 5 is the one that surprises most people. And until you address it, no amount of soap, body spray, or clean laundry can truly solve the issue. 1. Behind the ears and along the scalp line. Let's start with a quiet little spot that almost nobody talks about. The area behind your ears and along the hairline at the nape of the neck. It seems harmless, but this spot is one of the biggest contributors to that subtle, musty smell associated with age. Over time, it becomes a catch-all for oil, dead skin, sweat, and bacteria. As we age, our sebaceous glands, especially around the scalp, keep producing oil, but our skin gets less efficient at naturally clearing away the buildup, especially in creases like the one behind the ears. The result? A sticky film that slowly oxidizes and starts to release an unpleasant scent. Most people shampoo their hair by scrubbing the top and back of the head, but rarely think to wash along the sides or behind the ears. And if you're not using gentle friction, soap, and fingertips to clean that crease daily, that residue just keeps building. I once spoke to a lovely woman named Margaret, 78, who shared that she always felt a bit embarrassed when someone hugged her from the side. Her clothes were clean, her home was tidy, and she practiced good hygiene. But something still smelled off. When we went through her routine together, she realized she hadn't intentionally washed behind her ears in years. Once she added that simple habit, just twice a day, with mild soap and a fingertip massage, she told me, "I feel like I smell like myself again." It may be a small spot, but the impact is big, because body odor isn't always loud. It's often the faint scent on a pillow, the hint in a hug. And this area is completely exposed. Clothes and cologne can't mask it. But once you start cleaning it regularly, you'll feel fresher, more confident, and more in control every day. 2. Inside the belly button. It's one of the smallest parts of your body, but it can hold one of the strongest odors if left untouched. The belly button is a warm, dark, often slightly moist pocket of skin that can easily become a breeding ground for bacteria, yeast, and dead skin. Especially if you sweat, or if your stomach naturally folds over a bit with age, the area becomes even more prone to odor. Here's what surprises most people. Washing your stomach isn't the same as cleaning your belly button. Unless you're gently cleaning inside with a soapy fingertip or soft cloth, it's likely not getting clean at all. And for older adults, especially those with reduced flexibility or a bit of extra belly tissue, this tiny spot often gets skipped altogether. I remember a gentleman named Harold, 81. He was always dressed sharp, smelled great, until his wife kindly pointed out that something still didn't smell quite right. He tried everything, different soap, new detergent, even changing his diet. The solution? Cleaning his belly button. A soft cotton swab, warm water, mild soap, once a day, every day for a week. And the odor disappeared. He felt like a new man. The key here is gentleness. You don't want to scrub or use anything sharp. A fingertip and some patience are all it takes. You'll be amazed by how much fresher your entire midsection can feel and smell just by making this one tiny change. Remember, the belly button isn't just a leftover from birth. It's real skin in a real fold, and it needs just as much care as any other part of your body. 3. Underneath skin folds. As we age, our skin naturally softens and changes shape. For many, that means small folds appear around the neck, underarms, breasts, belly, or thighs. They're perfectly natural, but they're also perfect environments for odor to build up. These folds trap warmth, moisture, and oil, which become food for bacteria. When sweat and sebum get stuck in these areas, they break down into compounds that release a strong, sometimes sour scent. And the tricky part? That smell doesn't always stay in one place. It travels to your shirt collar, your bra, or even your bed linens. Sometimes the scent is faint, sometimes it's strong, but it's always preventable. Have you ever noticed a strange smell, even after showering and changing clothes? You cleaned thoroughly, used soap, even sprayed a little cologne. But that subtle, musty, old person smell still lingers. The truth is, it's not about how often you bathe. It's about where you're cleaning. And for many older adults, the most odor-causing areas are the ones no one ever talks about. As we age, our skin chemistry changes. Our bodies produce more of a compound called 2-nonenal, a substance linked to that distinct scent we often associate with aging. But here's the good news. That smell isn't inevitable. In fact, for most people, 99% of it can be reduced or even eliminated just by regularly cleaning 5 often overlooked areas. These spots aren't where you'd expect, but they matter more than you think. In this video, we'll explore 5 unexpected parts of the body where odor silently builds up, even when everything else feels clean. And once you start giving these areas just a little extra care, you may be shocked at how fresh and confident you feel every single day. Stay tuned until the end, because once you hear the 5th one, you'll understand why no amount of soap, body spray, or detergent will fix the problem unless you start here. Let's get started. 1. Along the scalp line and behind the ears, there's a small, quiet area most people forget about. Yet it's one of the biggest contributors to that musty, sour scent often associated with age. It's the space behind your ears, stretching just along the crease where your scalp ends and your neck begins. This area might seem harmless, but over time, it holds on to more oil, dead skin, and bacteria than you'd expect. As we get older, the sebaceous glands in this region keep producing oil, but the body becomes less efficient at shedding it, especially when it mixes with sweat and dead skin. The result? A sticky residue that quietly builds up and oxidizes. That's when the odor becomes noticeable. Most people shampoo the top and back of their heads, but forget the lower sides, near the ears and nape. And unless you're gently scrubbing behind the ears with soap and friction, the buildup only grows. Even wiping with a damp cloth isn't enough. This area needs friction, soap, and consistency. I once spoke with Margaret, 78, who said she always felt self-conscious when someone hugged her from the side. Her clothes were fresh, breath clean, home spotless. But when we talked through her hygiene routine, she realized she hadn't scrubbed behind her ears in years. After adding this one step, twice a day with gentle soap and a fingertip massage, everything changed. "I feel like I smell like me again," she said. Odor isn't always loud. It's subtle. The faint scent on a pillow, the whiff when someone leans in close. Behind the ears, it's not masked by clothes or perfume. It's right out in the open. That's why cleaning this tiny spot can have a huge impact on how fresh you feel every single day. 2. Inside the belly button. Small as it is, your belly button can be a major source of hidden odor. It's dark, warm, and a little moist, especially if you sweat or have a soft belly that folds slightly over. That makes it the perfect place for bacteria, yeast, and dead skin to gather. Most people wash their stomach and assume they're covering the navel. But unless you're gently cleaning inside it with soap and water, it's probably being missed. And for older adults, especially with less flexibility or more abdominal tissue, it gets even less attention. Over time, what builds up isn't just lint. It's a mix of sweat, oil, and skin cells. Left untouched, it starts to smell sour and earthy, clinging to your shirt and waistband, even transferring to fabric-covered chairs. The tricky part? You usually can't smell it yourself, but others often can. I knew a gentleman named Harold, 81, who always dressed sharp and used subtle cologne. But his wife gently told him, he still didn't smell quite right after a bath. After trying new soaps and laundry detergent, they finally found the culprit, his belly button. He hadn't cleaned it in years. Just a cotton swab with warm, soapy water once a day made the smell disappear completely. He felt like a new man. The key: don't scrub or poke hard. A gentle fingertip, soft cloth, warm water, and mild soap are all you need. Your belly button might seem like a leftover from birth, but it's a real pocket of skin that needs attention. Give it that, and you'll remove one of the most persistent, overlooked sources of odor in older age. If you're still watching and finding this helpful, comment number 2 below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the bell so you don't miss future videos. 3. Underneath, skin folds. As we age, our skin softens and forms more creases. Around the neck, under the arms, beneath the breasts, and across the belly and thighs. These folds are often forgotten. They feel like just part of our shape. But they trap moisture, oil, and heat, creating a perfect environment for bacteria to grow and odors to form. That smell doesn't always stay put. It spreads. A musty shirt collar, a sour scent on a bra, a damp smell in the waistband. Often, they all trace back to these warm, hidden folds. I remember Albert, 76, who was showering twice a day, but still didn't feel clean. Turns out, he wasn't drying under his arms or belly, just letting water rinse over them. Once he started lifting and gently washing each fold, then fully drying with a soft towel, everything changed. He even slept better, because he wasn't worrying about the smell anymore. You don't need harsh scrubbing, just warm water, a mild cleanser, and most importantly, thorough drying. A soft towel pressed gently into each fold makes all the difference. If the folds are deep, a fragrance-free cornstarch powder can help keep the area dry all day long. These places may be overlooked, but they matter. Care for them, and you might be amazed how much fresher and more confident you feel. 4th, entrance to the ear canal. You might not expect it, but one of the strongest sources of odor can come from your ears, not deep inside, but the entrance of the ear canal. the part you can easily see and reach. As we age, the glands around the ear produce more oil. When that oil mixes with wax and dead skin, it oxidizes, producing a faint, lingering scent that spreads onto pillowcases, clothing, and even the people you hug. Because it happens so close to our nose, we often can't smell it. But others can. This isn't about wax buildup. It's about that outer rim. Doris, 82, always prided herself on good hygiene. But her daughter noticed a smell when they sat close together, and they traced it to the entrance of her ears. Just wiping gently with a warm cloth and mild soap each day fixed it. You don't need to scrub or insert anything deep. Just wrap a clean fingertip in a damp cloth and gently wipe around the entrance, then dry it. That's it. A tiny habit, a big result. If you're still with us and learning something new, comment number 4 to let us know you're here. 5. Behind the knees and lower thigh crease. We often forget the back of our legs, but the fold behind the knees, where the thigh meets the calf, is a hidden heat trap. It stays bent much of the day. It's rich in sweat glands. And if you sit or wear pants often, it collects moisture that leads to odor-causing bacteria. Ray, 74, was changing his socks and shoes constantly, trying to get rid of a stale smell. But nothing worked, until he realized the issue wasn't his feet. It was the backs of his knees. He started washing and drying that area intentionally, then used a little unscented baby powder to stay dry. Within days, the odor was gone. And the surprise? He felt more confident and lighter on his feet, knowing the issue was solved. These aren't dirty places, just forgotten ones. And when they're cared for, the difference is physical and emotional. Final thoughts. Let's take a moment to reflect. Body odor in older age is not a sign of poor hygiene. It's a sign that our bodies are changing. The real issue isn't how often we clean. It's where and how we clean, especially as our skin and glands evolve. Today, you've learned about 5 hidden areas that can quietly contribute to odor, even when everything else seems spotless. Behind the ears, inside the belly button, underneath, skin now folds outer entrance of the ears, behind the knees. Each may seem small, but together, they can make a huge difference in how you smell and how you feel. Because this isn't just about freshness, it's about dignity, confidence, and taking full care of the body you live in at every stage of life. So, which of these surprised you the most? Was there one you hadn't thought about in years? Let us know in the comments. And if you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support means everything. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.